reason I wanted to re-record this is to have a better video for you to see this a little bit closer. So what we start with is we're going to start with the smallest one, because anything that we do to these oranges, if we transfer that to other things like a cantaloupe, a honeydew, a pineapple, watermelon, any of the melons. So if you get this part down, you should be good to go. So just like everything that we do, we want to start with a round, just like so. What this does, it establishes a part that's not going to roll now. It should stay nice and firm. Now, one of the things that I've noticed, I did not know until counting, I've never counted, is I take between 12 and 16 peels when peeling something. So you want to make sure that you're in that ballpark. If we're starting with a round, we want to finish with a round. So let me demonstrate. First thing I'm going to do is look at my orange, and I see that it has this curve to it. What I want to try to do when I cut it is follow this curvature around to here, just like so. And that will give me my cut. That'll give me my first one. I don't want to go too thin. I'm going to keep it right where it would be a peel, like so. So I've looked, I'm still in the pith. I'm not thin enough to be in the zest, not thick enough to be in the meat yet. So what I can do is take one more cut, but I'm actually going to start it right here, right where I can actually see the meat of the orange right there. I'm going to follow that down to here. So what that looks like so. Now here, little too thin, little too thick on the bottom. But now I have a line right here that I can follow. So what I'm going to do is put the back part of my blade here on that edge. So if I turned it sideways so you can really see, it looks just like that. And that's my cut line. Now, normally I'd have this straight up and down, but I want you to see how that knife is working in there. And just staying with that white pith line where it meets the actual meat of the product, like so. So you come in. Now, whether it's green on a cantaloupe, whether it's the whitish green on a honeydew, or the actual pines on the pineapple, the little pricklies, that establishes a cut line for you. I rotate the fruit clockwise. And what I want to finish with is a round orange. Just like so. So if you start with a round, end with a round. So if you look, a lot of peels just for that one little orange. But that's what you want. You don't want to leave a lot of flesh on there, a lot of meat. So again, down, establishes the flats. Get your first cut line in. Are you too thick? Are you too thin? And then go for your next one. That'll establish it like so. Now I have my line and just follow it around. When you're starting this, let's see if I can do it. When you're starting this, it's pretty common to do, let's see if I can do it. Yeah. This is a pretty common beginning thing, is you get the curve on the top correct, but you forget about the bottom. You forget to go in. And so if you do that, which you probably will, like I said, it's a beginning thing. I've had to practice to work on it to make sure I make my knife cut come back in. So just go back through it, get it cleaned up, nice and round, done. So the next one you move on to, once you get that down, and you want to repeat that until you feel comfortable in doing that, is you want to make sure that you can do that round. You understand the cuts, because once you move into melons and stuff, they cost more. So again, same thing as the orange. Establish my flats. Flat, flat. Not too much, right? There's a little orange there, but not a bunch. This is what we want to look for here. We got green right up into that orange gradient. So I look, and depending on what time of year, this green, like in wintertime, might be all the way up into here. In the summertime, the green might only be right at the rind. So start my first cut. Try to keep it about an inch, inch and a half wide, just like so. I don't want to see orange on here. I want to see the green, just like I did with the orange. When I did the orange, I just wanted to see the white and not the meat. It means I'm not too deep. It is almost impossible to put food or put the meat of the product back on. There's my first cut. Now I should have a line established right here. That green line, I'm going to come in here, try to keep them narrow, right? About an inch, inch and a half wide. And it will look like this, but straight up and down. And just follow that green right here. That way when you're done, you have an orange cantaloupe. So while doing this, the other part is I see people like take chunks, like here, 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 here. That will leave these scallop lines. Try to draw through all at once. That gives you nice lines on the final presentation and nice symmetry. Again, take your time. Serrated knife works great for this. Once you're done with this part, you can move to a chef knife. I've just learned that really capturing the rind off the melons, much easier this way. Again, it's not a speed thing. It's about accuracy of ending with something that looks semi-round. So following it around, staying on that green. And so when I'm done, it should be round, it should be orange, and be ready for the next step. And I'm back to the beginning. So I just want to look and see, is there any little areas that I might want to clean up? Like here, again, this is going for a presentation, so I want it to look good. Just like so. So that one's ready to go. Now, doing the honeydew melon is the same way. Obviously, it's just a little bit bigger. We do the same process, whether it's a honeydew, whether it's a watermelon, whatever fruit you're doing. So on a pineapple, same thing. It's just the rind's a little bit different. A couple different ways. You can cut this straight down, and that way you have this part to use as maybe a centerpiece for your fruit tray to establish your line where to put the pineapple. You can twist it off while it's still on there. You would have just the top, and these are good for using for garnishes and stuff. With the pineapple though, if it's pretty rough or dark or has a little bit of red clay in it, red dirt from what it's grown in, you want to put this just in a real quick bath of hot water. That'll pop the color up a bit. Again, same thing though, establishing the flats so I can stand it up and it's not going to go anywhere. Now, just like everything else, my first cut, shallow, following the curvature of the pineapple. One of the things I know they have on the market is those tools that you can take and push right down through the pineapple, and it pulls the core out and it pulls the cylinder of pineapple. Problem with that is, as a pineapple ripens, the sugar goes to the outside. So if I'm not getting this part and this meat here and just trimming it off, I'm not getting the sweetest part of the pineapple. And so again, following. Now with this, it's more like dot to dot. So my next line is actually going to be here, and I'm going to hit dot, 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 dot. So I'm just going to connect the dots. Following the curvature. Now I have a great line started. Now I can come right down in here. I can use the dots though and not the green. If I go to the green, what would happen if I went just the green and use that same green line is I'd leave those. So that's why on a pineapple, I'm actually going to play connect the dots. So straight down. And if you go too thin, just go back over it. It's easier to trim than to put back on. Take too much, you'll be putting it back on. Which is like, how do I do that? Food grade super glue? Just kidding. No such thing. Not that I know of. And please don't use methylcellulose on it. So, coming in, turning it clockwise, same thing. Start with the round, end with a round. Start with the shape of a pineapple, end with the shape of a pineapple. Your yield will be higher than using one of the plungers. And truly, once you get used to it, it goes really quick. And always work clean. Now on your pineapple, just look for any of those little guys there. Those are actually seed pockets. So if you see these, you can go Dr. Pineapple Popper right there. And those are just pineapple seeds. So you can leave those, you can pick them, whatever you would want to do with it. But you don't want to have the little pokies. Okay, nice and clean. And that one's ready to go. Now, the only other ones I want to show you that's round that need to be peeled would be a kiwi. So, how do you do a kiwi? Well, same thing that I always start with. Start with a flat. Start with a flat. But this time, it's not so I can take this little knife and go like this. They got excited about the stickers on this one. What this is for is actually, you take a spoon and go right under the skin and just start working it around that skin directly under the skin. Just like that. You can kind of see that spoon moving under the skin. Kind of easier to do it quicker, if I'm being honest. As I do that, I'm going in a little bit deeper, so that way it pops out that side. Now these are a little bit underripe. When they're ripe, it just goes super, super easy. This one I'm having to push just a little bit, but then you have a nice peeled kiwi. And again, can you serve it with the skin on? Yes, but then you're leaving it to where a customer would either have to make the choice to either eat the fuzzy skin or chew it and then discard the skin, which might not look very appetizing, especially if they're at a nice party, wedding reception, something like that. Then just take your kiwi, segment it out, whether you want rounds, wedges, however you want to do that. And for this presentation, for your strawberries, I want you to do something a little bit different. It is strawberry season, so you could just wash them up and put large whole strawberries, but I want to play a little bit with these just to add another cut into your skill set. So what you're going to do with these is establish about 3/4. So from here to here is about halfway. halfway again is going to be right about here. And what I'm going to do is just take about 3/4. I'm going to drop my knife down through and make thin slices. Really thin slices, just like so. Because that way I'll be able to take these on my tray and fan them out. And they'll be nice little fans. So again, working clean. Just nice little thin cuts. Just like so. And that will be able to fan that out on the actual tray. So now next part, now that we have this mise done, what do we do? Well, let's take the cantaloupe first. First, drop through the center, like so. If you have a large serving spoon like this, it works great for going over your food waste bucket. Remember, not over the garbage can. Never, ever, ever. Pop it in like that, and all the seeds come out. Makes it clean. Like so. Pop it out. Done. Instead of fishing those seeds out with the little spoon or whatever, it makes it much easier that way. Then, with your pineapple, no seeds to worry about, just core. So you're going to drop through the middle, like so. Cut it in half again. And then 27.5 degrees, cut it down like that. And that reveals the core, and you can pull that part out. Again, in half, down, angle. Do a better job than that. Come on. There we go. In half, down, angle. That pulls the core. And then those are ready to either dice or slice. For this, I'm going to do a slice. And what I want to do is keep these thin enough to where I can actually, if I want to do a serpentine design, if I want to do a circle, even just a straight line, if I do this correctly, nice and thin, when I put it out on the tray, it should be able just to fan it out real easy, just with a light touch, and then be able to curve it. So if I have one that way, I'm going to go ahead and do my cantaloupe the same. I think for the sizing though, I'm going to make sure everything's relevant to the size. Now, what I just did there is the same thing that I've done on all the other stuff. Cut a flat. I cut it in half, cut it in a quarter. I have these two little bumps. Now, if I tried to watch, just cut a flat. Not a lot, it just cuts those tips. And now it gives me a better piece to work with. Now you'll notice once in a while I'll take my index finger and go over the top. It's not near the blade, well, it's on the blade, but it's not near the cutting edge. And just hold it. If they want to come out like that, it's just a quick, keeps it in place. And this part's a little green and crunchy, recycle. Now I just need my honeydew. And then after my honeydew, I can assemble the actual tray. Actually, real quick, I take my oranges. You can either do the supremes, or you can do little circles. One of the honeydews cut up on the cart. Instead of peeling another one, we have one, so I'm just going to grab it. Now, a little thing here, on this seedless orange, there's a couple seeds. Make sure to take your seeds out. Whether it's lemons, limes, whatever you're using, customers don't want to have the seeds. And this makes a better eating experience without. So just pull them. Just look real quick. Pop them. Try not to mangle it in the process. There we go. And finally this one. Okay, this is just extra stuff to do, not as busy work, but to give the customer the best experience. My fruit juices work clean. Okay, I have a peeled honeydew here already. Same thing as the cantaloupe. I'm going to cut it flat. It's a little bit bigger melon. And that's the thing. You want to try to size everything close to the same. So if you have half a cantaloupe, half a honeydew, half a watermelon, and you try to put those on a tray, it's just not going to look right. Try to get the same thickness all the way down. Okay, now I have my fruit. It's ready to go. Now I can assemble. So I have a round here that I'm going to use, and I think I'm going to start with up like this. I'm going to go ahead and put my pineapple on. Go in the center, press forward, just like so. My cantaloupe on this side. I think with my cantaloupe, I want to add some curve to it. And since the cuts are there, I should be able to do that. I want to mirror the honeydew on this side. So if I put a curve to it on the cantaloupe, I want to follow that curve on this side too. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I can take this top, cut it down, so see what I have to work with here. Anything, that's not bad. Put that on the top. See, I might like this better. Just like clean it out. Put the leaves better. There we go. And what do I have for to add to this? Well, I want to put my oranges on. I'm going to stack them in.
You can't see the tray.
Yeah, I'll move the tray here in a second. So that way everything can be seen. Just get a little more space here. There we go. So it's looking better. Put a few berries in here, little blueberries. Little towel. Just in the blue, this green looks really good on the kiwi. So it just makes a nice contrast. Like so. Now, with I still have this top here looking kind of flat. I want some more elevation. So I'm going to take a banana, take the top bottom off, cut it at an angle, just like so. I have a little bit of citric acid from my orange. If I put that on there, we'll keep that from browning out. Just like that. That's better. I like it better. So let's go with that. Again, a little citric acid. And you know, fruit tray is kind of like Legos. Keep playing with it until it's like, it looks good. So you can get something you want to serve. That's better. It's getting there. Don't know. See? I think what's happening here is this pineapple top's messing with me. So if I carve an angle on that, then lay it back down, get some grapes on there, one there, one there. Now I have a little more elevation. Oh, there we go. Now it's coming together. Like so. I have my strawberry fans here. I can head a point of red here, some red here. I think red in here would look good. And mirror that on the other side. Now, you don't have to always do the symmetry and keep the lines straight, but for this one, it's just what I want to do for practice, okay? And for an assignment. So that's what you're going to turn out. All right? Now, after doing this and trying it up, one of the things that I found, I just wasn't satisfied how it looked. And one of the things I do is I never settle. It's got to look good. And so because of that, I went ahead and retrade. And this is what I came up with, the final product.